Chapter 64. Then God looked at Adam and at his strength of mind and at his ability to endure hunger, thirst, and heat. And he changed the 2 fig trees into 2 figs as they were at first. Then he said to Adam and Eve, "Each of you may take 1 fig." And they took them as the Lord commanded them. And he said to them, "You must now go into the cave and eat the figs and satisfy your hunger, or else you will die." So they went into the cave about sunset as God commanded them, and Adam and Eve stood up and prayed during the setting sun. Then they sat down to eat the figs, but they did not know how to eat them, because they were not accustomed to eating earthly food. They were afraid that if they ate, their stomach would become heavy, and their flesh thickened, and their hearts would begin to crave earthly food. But while they were seated, God sent them his angel, out of pity for them, so they wouldn't perish of hunger and thirst. And the angel said to Adam and Eve, "God says to you that you do not have the strength that would be required to fast until death. So eat and strengthen your bodies, for you are now animal flesh and cannot subsist without food and drink." Then Adam and Eve took the figs and began to eat of them, but God had put into them a mixture as of savory bread and blood. Then the angel left Adam and Eve as they ate of the figs, until they had satisfied their hunger. Then they put aside what was left over, but by the power of God, the figs became whole again, because God blessed them. After this, Adam and Eve got up and prayed with a joyful heart and renewed strength, and praised and rejoiced much for the entire night. And this was the end of the 83rd day. Author's note: the meaning of the phrase, "God says to you that you do not have the strength that would be required to fast until death," is not clear. It is likely that it simply is somewhat inverted and should be. If you fast, you will not have the required strength and you will die. Although one could look at it as a spiritual strength and a warning that one does not have the required determination to endure death by fasting. But God saw Adam had the will,